What's going on YouTube? Heylow here, bringing you an all-new Total War Warhammer 2 1v1 matchup. So today we are going to be playing some Bretonnia versus Chaos. So DimmyGee and I were having some best of 5 games, and this one ended up being a really good one to showcase how Bretonnia can pull off some pocket wins against Chaos, as long as you make sure to utilize your terrain and pick some good engagements. So let's dive in. Alright, so for myself, playing as Bretonnia, we have 4 peasant mob throughout the front line, and then we're also going to have 4 foot squires in the back to support with the AP anti-infantry. In the rear, we have 2 field trebuchets defended by 2 units of Knights of the Realm for some anti-large. And then on foot, we are also going to have the Grail Reliquary, and then the Caster Damsel Lore of Life on horse. So that is going to be providing us with that Earthblood and Shield of Thorns for some heals and defense for physical resist. And then in the air, we're going to have King Lewin Leon Kerr supported by 2 units of Pegasus Knights. So not super Foot Squire heavy, a pretty diverse build, but it provides lots of anti-large and some armor piercing, as well as some good AP missile damage from field trebuchets to take out like Chosen or heavy infantry, and then the peasants bog down the front line and the foot squires support. So over here for Chaos, DimmyGee taking up 2 sides of the terrain pieces over here on the cliffs, bringing double hell cannons. So he has the Soul of Damnation on one flank, supported by some Chaos Marauders and a Chosen with Halberd, and then on the opposite flank he has the standard hell cannon with another Chosen with Halberds, some Marauders, and then he has a Sorcerer Lore of Shadow on horse and Kolek the Sun Eater himself. So for his caster, he is going to be bringing Mystifying Miasma, as well as called here Feebling Foe. There we go, for some melee defense and attack debuff. So yeah, let's get moving here. So right off the bat, Chaos also has some Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes on the left flank, and that's going to be something that we are going to find out later, because he does have them hidden. So initially, we are going to see these 2 different fortified positions, and he is going to be popping some shots off and hitting our peasants. So what we're going to do is move our entire formation back out of range, and we're going to let our trebuchets do some work here. So right off the bat, we're going to target some marauders, start getting some shots into the Chosen with Halberd, just try and beat down some of his infantry, since Chaos Infantry does pretty well trade-wise against Bretonnia. And then over here, we are going to be moving out to try and go after the Soul of Damnation to shut it down, but he is going to be bringing his throwing axes out to harass King Lewin. He takes a decent amount of HP damage right off the bat from all the AP missiles. But what we are going to do is turn about here and get online and start chasing. And these guys are getting warded off down this cliff, and they're going to have nowhere to go. So Pegasus Knights are eventually going to catch him, and he does try to hit my Peg Knights with the Soul of Damnation. But we are going to be bringing in the Knights of the Realm to intercept these guys, because they are right along the white line. So these guys have really nowhere to go. The Peg Knights are going to come down and catch them, and then the Terror and Fear is going to be causing huge debuffs to their leadership, and they're going to rout right off the map. So big pickup for us there, taking out 1,200 gold worth of units with the Marauder Horsemen going off the battlefield, and we are now perfectly okay to fly around wherever we want with no threat of missile response. So again, Pegasus Knights and Lewin head back out for the Soul of Damnation. We're bringing the Knights of the Realm around the flanks, going to use these guys to try and do some screening and harassment. Maybe get some cheeky charges in if we can start breaking up the formations a little bit. But yeah, Trebuchet is doing their work right now. His Hell Cannon's trying to take them out. The nice thing with Hell Cannons is they are unbreakable, so I can't really target these effectively at all with my artillery, because they're not going to hit this small target, and I'm not going to effectively win that trade. So we're just ignoring them for right now and going after the infantry, which we've done some decent damage to the Marauders and whatnot on each side, and some of these Chosen over here. But we're going to charge in our Peg Knights and Lewin to these Marauders, get the free pickup, get some kills, terror rout these guys before his Chosen can respond. And yeah, some free cycle charges over here. His Soul of Damnation popping boom to do a little extra damage to our trebuchets. Not the best for us, but right now we are picking up some free value out of taking out his infantry on the sides. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a Shaggoth over here, so he can't really quickly respond. So the Knights of the Realm are going to be coming in as well to back this up, and his Chosen with Halberds are the only threat over here right now. So we're going to pull these guys up, bring our Damsel into support as well with the Earthblood and Shield of Thorns, and we're just going to go straight in on the Soul of Damnation. And he does have the Chosen here, which is an issue, but we are going to be popping our Shield of Thorns for the 22% physical resist as well as the weapon damage. Stand your ground going down as well, so these guys are going to be very, very tanky, taking tons and tons of defensive buffs at once. And then we're going to pull out. We're going to go in, get our juicy charge, knock out a bunch of this infantry, get some solid damage done on the Soul of Damnation, and then pull out to safety before the buffs wear off and the halberds can start doing some really thick damage to us. So Peg Knights here only losing one model, 2 models on the other one. Lewin is doing great, and then our cavalry comes in as well for some side charges. So all in all, doing pretty good over here. Nothing too crazy going on, but yeah, taking out this big block of infantry. The Chosen with halberds, though, are going to be a tough nut to crack. And that's going to continue on, while over here we do end up accidentally getting our cav caught, the Knights of the Realm. He had pushed the Hell Cannon out, and we had gone after it and done a substantial amount of damage. Unfortunately, we were a little too distracted on the left side, and we ended up losing this unit of cav, so they're going to get routed out, and the infantry is going to push them off. Kolek making sure that they take quite the beating and punishment for going in for the snipe. But yeah, right now a little bit of a trade going on. Balance of power slightly in my favor as I'm picking off this left side. But because he shut down that cav, that's a little bit of a good pickup for him as well. So we still do have our field trebuchets online. Unfortunately, we have lost 2 artillery pieces on one. And we're just going to be pulling these guys up to get some good damage into the infantry, as now he is basically giving up on the stationary positions, as he's lost a lot of infantry, and he is moving down to try and isolate my Peg Knights and my other Knights of the Realms, and try and start moving for a confrontation. So fortunately our Knights of the Realm on the right flank do rally, so they're going to be coming back, and these Chosen with halberds are looking really isolated. So even though these guys have charge defense and they're really good against large, if we can get them before the bulk of his army comes around, we can get some solid damage done to these guys before they can be reinforced. Unfortunately, with these formations they're in, because of their moving, our trebuchets are getting some awesome damage in, hitting lots and lots of unit models, so really good pickup for us, doing some solid damage to the marauders. But yeah, we do manage to get a little bit of a charge in on the Chosen with halberds. A little goon, do some HP damage, but we are going to have to pull out pretty quick here because Kolek is here and he is going straight after my damsel. So we pull the Knights of the Realm in to try and do some damage there, and we're going to pull all of our anti-large in to focus Kolek and get our caster out of here. He does pop Malkos Mystifying Miasma for the speed decrease, but we have got him stuck in place and doing some real solid damage to Kolek right now. He's down to 4,400 HP, and he has no source of healing, so everything that we can do is fantastic. Shield of Thorns popped to give us the extra resistance, as the Chosen have entered the fray, and we are going to pull right back out of there. Unfortunately, our two units of Pegasus Knights do get terrified. However, on the other side, fortunately for us, he has nothing to be able to chase them off the battlefield. So these guys are safe to come back, and we're going to go and try and terror rout out some of these marauders that are isolated. He realizes he's not going to be able to catch the damsel very quickly, and if Kolek gets too far ahead of his army, then he's going to be an isolated target for all the Peg Knights. So he's kind of pulling back to consolidate a little bit, get out of the Trebuchet's range, and re-consolidate the forces. So we do break the Chaos Marauder over here, and our main line is basically untouched. Taking a little damage from the Hell Cannon on some peasant mob, but again, it's just peasant mob. Foot Squires are in perfect condition. Trebuchets still have lots of ammo, and we do have 4 of the models left, so they're going to be still providing some damage as they move up. And he's going to be coming up the valley right now to try and go for the mainline engagement, since his Hell Cannons are down and he can't really defend them anymore. Which is really unfortunate because his crews are alive, they are unbreakable, and he's got lots of ammo left. However, if he just sits there, he's going to be forced to weather all of these trebuchet shots. One or the other is going to end up picked apart by these air units. So he gives up on that and just starts moving in for the front line. And as he does, we focus down the Chosen with halberds with our trebuchets and just start doing a nice amount of damage to them. He's got 46 models left. His infantry is trying to come up. But yeah, the Chosen are the big anchor point here, as well as Kolek, and he doesn't really have anything left to contest us at range at all. So we are eagerly awaiting. We get a group up here and pop that Earthblood and overcast it, so we get everything, that HP juice that it desperately needs. Get our cavalry pulled out to the right flank, our air force to the left, and now we wait. We're just going to continue to use our field trebuchets to do what damage we can, and he is coming in for the frontline engagement. Fast forward a little bit. and he's trying to pull Kolak back and keep his caster safe, but we go in for the side flank into the Chaos Marauders with the Cav, get a free little charge there, and start pulling back towards our infantry. He does pop Malkos, though, which is going to be a really nice grab for him as he tries to goon our cavalry, but they do pull back through the Peasant Mob, and then the Peasant Mob is going to be engaging here against the Chaos Marauders, bogging down all of his infantry as the Cav escapes through the gap. Kolak is going to be moving in to try and support and terrify some of these peasants, but we do have the Grail Relic coming in as well. So we get a nice little frontline envelopment with our peasant mobs, and then here comes the Air Force moving in on Kolak. Foot Squires coming in to back them up, start going after these Chosen, and the Trebuchets are going to town here, just dumping their shots into this blob. And Kolak here is getting surrounded by the bird people. King Lewin himself trying to beat down on them. But yeah, right now looking pretty good for us. Balance of power heavily in our favor. All the infantry is getting terror routed. The Chosen have taken such a beating from the artillery. Sword of Corone goes down and debuffs everything's melee defense, and the Bretonnian infantry at this point is just swarming. Cavalry comes in, is pinning Kolek and the caster down, and our Air Force is just sticking the fight out, just forcing Kolek out, and there we go, the Shatter. So we did take a little bit of losses here on our Pegasus Knights, but fortunately for us, we didn't contest the opposite sides like that, and we ended up just sticking with a core force just because we wanted to be able to defend it better, and it worked out for us. If we hadn't brought the Trebuchets, probably would have been a really tough time because those Hell Cannons would have done work, and we wouldn't have had anything to return that damage. But yeah, GG. So yeah, Bretonnian army here doing pretty well. This is something that I would say is a good build if you have decent terrain like this. Trebuchets can work very well here. Hell Cannons aren't super effective at trading them out. They will absolutely beat them, but you know you're using your Hell Cannon, which is a 1200 cost unit, and the Soul of Damnation is like 1500, just to take out some Trebuchets, you know. And then that leaves all of the infantry, cavalry, and your air force to try and goon after lords, rear charge, pick things apart where you can. And yeah, it forces them to start coming to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Um, did fulfill my request for some Bretonnia gameplay, so I hope you are happy. And yeah, drop a comment down below if there's anything else you'd like me to play, anything you want to see, and have a great day.